Hello. Hi. I'm Lisa Klaslow. I'm the Community Relationship Manager at the Lupus Society of Illinois. I'm very excited to be live tonight with our Chicago Walk Ambassador, Viktoria Baldo. She'll be on in just a few moments, but I did want to make a couple announcements before we get started. A little bit about tonight's presentation. This event is an educational and informational purpose only and serves to benefit our mission. The Lupus Society of Illinois does not provide medical advice or recommendations. This information should not be substituted or replace expert medical care. Before making changes to your medical care, consult your qualified healthcare professional familiar with your medical condition and health status. If you're not aware, we have our upcoming Chicago Lupus Walk and Fun Run. It will be in Lincoln Park on September 30th. Registrations opens at 8:30 a.m. and the walk steps off at 10 a.m. So if you aren't registered, we'd love to see you. So go to www.lupuswalkil.org. This year, LSI is celebrating our 50th anniversary. We'd love to highlight some of your past events and moments, so please send us your photos, memories, and congratulations. You can send that information to me or Mary. You can call us at 312-542-0002, or you can email me, Lisa, at lupusil.org, or Mary at lupusil.org. Save the date. So we are going to have our annual Rush Lupus Clinic and LSI educational event at Rush on December 2nd. So we will be getting more information out, but if you would like more information, you can contact Mary at 312-542-0002. This is an in-person event and will not be live streamed, so it's really great to come out, interact with the lupus community, meet doctors, and be able to get all your questions answered and meet other lupus warriors. This event is made possible by everyone that's on today. So your donations really help LSI support our mission. So we really appreciate that. So if you are interested in making a donation, it's at www.lupusil.org/donate. Have you ever thought about running that Chicago Marathon? So we do have spots now guaranteed for 2024. So if you are interested, you want to contact Mary at lupusil.org or call us at 312-542-0002. We have a really great program, training live or virtual through Chicago Endurance Sports. We have an official LSI singlet. You will get two tickets to a lupus charity runner pasta dinner and more. So it's a great time. It's for a great cause, and it's a wonderful experience. Volunteer and internship opportunities. So we are always looking for help, volunteers to help at many different events or in our office or with support groups and everything like that. So if you're interested in volunteering or interning at LSI, please contact me. One more announcement I did want to make. Speaking of the walk, this week, Madi Gonzalez and Dr. Jolly will be on Adelante and WGN promoting the walk. We don't have the air time, but they will be headed to WGN studio this week to film a little bit about LSI, the walk, and a little bit about lupus. So when we have that information, we'll definitely post when it's going to be airing. All right. So I'm going to get Viktoria in on this here. So I'd like to introduce Viktoria Baldo. She will share her lupus story and how she almost passed away and how she is thriving today. Not only has Viktoria learned to manage her lupus, she has taken her journey and shares it on social media. She has 139,000 followers on TikTok. Viktoria is a recent college graduate and a newlywed whose wedding was featured in the New York Times. Viktoria has been on the Lupus Chicago Walk Committee for the past 2 years. LSI is very excited for you to get to know this amazing woman who is doing so much in the lupus community. So real quick, before I turn it over to Viktoria, we do have a comment section. So we would love for you guys to ask questions or comment throughout the broadcast, and then we will ask Victoria at the end. So, Victoria, take it away if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hi. Thank you, Lisa, for the introduction. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Victoria, and as what Lisa said, I recently graduated last May with my bachelor's in public health at the University of Arizona. And my husband and I, we actually recently announced it to social media that we are expecting with our first child. So lots of exciting things happening. And I'm a lupus warrior.
All right. What kind of lupus do you have?
I have lupus nephritis, which means that my kidney got affected because of the lupus, and I also have systemic lupus erythematosus, as known as SLE.
When was lupus diagnosed?
I was diagnosed, properly diagnosed, back in September of 2016, but yeah.
Okay. And then did it take a long time, it sounds like?
Yes, it actually took a long time for me to get a proper diagnosis. It took 2 years, and looking back at it, it took me, I believe, three hospital visits, three ER visits, and two different hospitals to get a proper diagnosis, which is so unfortunate.
Yeah, sadly, it happens to way too many people
Yeah,
that long.
yeah.
Um, and then, how has lupus changed your life?
Lupus affected my life in different ways. I would say both positively and negatively. I would start with the negative. Uh, I started experiencing symptoms during my teenage years, and um, the first, I actually had to drop out of college twice because of my flare ups. The first time I had it was when the first time I had to drop out was when I got diagnosed. I had to stay in the hospital for more than 1 week, and so I decided um, that I think it's best if I just take a step back and focus on my new diagnosis because it was a lot to take in. Getting diagnosed with an incurable disease is a lot. um, but after that semester, I went back to school again, and then unfortunately in 2019, I had my like second flare up, and I had to drop out of school again, and that almost took me 2 years to recover. So it's been a lot of I feel like I've wasted um, a lot of my time because I was forced to um, because of my disease. But on the positive note, I did learn to listen to my body more. Um, I'm more conscientious now of my of my boundaries and also my limits. And when I'm getting tired, I just know my body more now after being diagnosed.
How was your life before you were diagnosed?
Um, oh, before diagnosis, I would go outside without any sun protection, and it was wild thinking about it. Like I would not apply sunscreen. I would not have any hats, and I would wear like um, I wouldn't wear long sleeves before during the summer, so my skin would be totally exposed to the sun. And knowing and I didn't know that before that the sun is actually a trigger of lupus. So um, yeah, that's how I would say my life was different before lupus, and also before I was the life of the party. But after the diagnosis, I feel like I had to, like what I was saying earlier, know my boundaries. And when I feel tired or fatigue, I have to step back and just not be the life of the party anymore.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to change like that, but now that you know your body, that's great. Does anyone else in your family have lupus?
It's actually just me right now, and I hope it stays that way. Um, yeah, so it was really hard to navigate for me, um, navigate my diagnosis too, because I don't have anyone in my family to ask,
Mhm.
or it's a new diagnosis in our family.
Do you know anyone else with lupus before?
No, it was totally new to me, and I
Yeah.
had to do all the research, and I had Google to rely on, but that's about it. And yeah, back then it wasn't like social media wasn't big on that yet. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe there was, but it wasn't um, big as much as it is right now. So I just had to rely on Google.
I always say Google is like your worst and best friend, right?
Yes, yeah. And then you go down this rabbit hole of, oh my God, there's a lot of complications, and but yeah, it's both good and bad. But
Yeah. You're going to be doing a lot of that with your child.
that's oh,
Hmm. Do you find support with your family members? And if so, like, how are they supporting you?
I'm very fortunate with my support system. Um, my main main support system, I would say, would be my mom and my husband. So my mom, she would come to me to my doctor's appointments, and um, she would also sometimes cook for me. And then my husband, on the other hand, he helps me with my chores, and um, he knows that when I'm not feeling well, I could ask him like, "Oh, can you please get me a glass of water? I'm not feeling well," and he knows my limits as well. And I say that they're the main ones because I also have like a bigger support system, like my extended family, and
Mhm.
then my siblings, and just really everyone in my family. Even though it's a new diagnosis to us, they're starting to understand what lupus is, and I'm grateful that they are understanding of what I've been through, and
Mhm.
what I will go through.
Mhm. Did you know your husband before you were diagnosed, or you met him after?
I met him after my diagnosis.
Okay. And was he familiar with lupus, or that was new for him as well?
No, he was not familiar with lupus. It was new to him too, and um, he didn't know what it was or what the extent of my disease is until in 2019 when I had my second flare up, and he realized that it was something serious.
How did you first become involved in the Illinois Lupus Walk?
I got involved in the Lupus Illinois Walk when I reached out to LSI through Instagram back in early 2022, so last year. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I saw a post that said that you were looking for people for your walking committee, and so I reached out, and the rest is history. And yeah, I believe it was probably you that I talked to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I probably wrote you back right away because we
Yeah.
always want a
That was
good, strong committee. So, um, as a team captain, so tell us a little bit about your team, who's on your team, and then as a team captain, what are your goals?
Yeah. So my team name is called Victorious Warriors. It's a pun. um, and so far, I have my my family, immediate family, and some of our friends who signed up already. And some of my goals this year, because it's only my second year,
Mhm.
and some of my goals this year is to have more people joining my team compared to last year, and also to raise more awareness about lupus through social media.
What did your family, did they enjoy the walk and seeing so many people coming together?
Yes, yes. It was our first time and first time last year, so it's really nice to see that there's a community here in Chicago, and also that they enjoyed being there.
Nice. What is it like being the 2023 Lupus Walk ambassador?
Um, I honestly I was surprised that I was asked, especially knowing that it's only my second year. But I think it's a privilege and an honor um, that I am able to raise awareness in a more local level. Because before it's just through my social media, but now I feel like um, I can raise awareness in Chicago/Illinois area.
So, you are, like we mentioned, on the Chicago Lupus Walk Committee. Please tell us why you choose to be on this committee.
Being in the walking committee of LSI means that I could give back to the lupus community. Um, like what I said before, I didn't really have anyone that I could talk to about my disease because I'm the only one in my family. But you know, being in being a part of the LSI walking committee means that I've met people who actually have lupus, and seeing what they're doing for the lupus community.
What does the walk committee do, and why should everyone join it next year?
So what we do is we actually reach out to different organizations and ask them for donations. Like, for example, I actually learned how to reach out to organizations like or companies like the Field Museum, um, and we have this raffle. We create like raffle prizes
Mhm.
on the day off, um, and also ask them for donations, like water bottles or food on the day off, so we could give it to the walk to people who are walking. And yeah, I believe that you should join the committee next year because it's you're giving back to the lupus community. If you have someone in your family or a friend who is near and dear to your heart, um, it's it's a way to support them, and it means a lot to us, even if you don't understand what we are physically growing through. Um, through being a part of the walking committee, I think that's like uh, a big way that you can show your support to us.
Yeah, and I think, just more on what Victoria was saying, the walk committee really helps us at LSI kind of really reach out to places like we wouldn't even consider. So, Victoria helping us get tickets. So if you want to come to the raffle, you could win 4 tickets to the Field Museum. We have a lot of really great raffle prizes,
Yeah.
but the committee does a lot more than that. They spread awareness. They help us hang up flyers throughout the community. So it's a good way to get involved and really kind of just help, get more people to the walk to build our community. So we do have a lot of people coming. So we're really excited. The walk is only like 3.5 weeks away. So it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah,
Has the lack of public awareness about lupus affected your quality of life?
definitely. I would say that having an invisible illness is a struggle because you because we look perfectly normal on the outside, unless we have side effects from our medications. When I took prednisone, it was obvious that I gained a lot of weight. So that was the only time where people could tell that something was wrong. But other than that, they couldn't really tell that I was physically in pain. I would, my body would hurt, my joints would hurt, and and I would feel tired most of the time. But you wouldn't know that. You can't see that with a naked eye, which is understandable. And I think that the lack of public awareness um, can make people underestimate my struggle sometimes. And yeah, this is why raising awareness is important.
Is that why you did start with social media?
Yes, that's why I started with social media because, for one, I wanted to find um, people who are in the same situation as me, and also to gain understanding of what we go through as lupus warriors. And I think it's really important that we have this conversation so that people have an insight of what we go through.
I know I mentioned earlier in your introduction that you did almost pass away and you really had to bounce back and fight back, and you've really kind of journaled that on social media, and I know that really inspires people, and it's probably really hard to do. Anything on that like that you'd want to share? Like, is that help? It's that journaling really probably inspiring for you as well?
Uh, I would say yes. There are times where, because the healing journey is not linear, and there are times where I feel like um, I would remember the situation, um, and I would go into this, um, like you get sad thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
The what could have been if this didn't happen, I would have been this and that, and um, but journaling about it and also sharing about it in social media um, has a positive side to it because people are saying that they are inspired by my story, which really melts my heart. And also, or like some people would say, "Oh, I needed to see this today because they're going through something similar," um, and it gives them hope. So it's nice to know that there is something good that came out of what I have been through. Um, it's hard, but honestly, I'm just making the most out of it because when you think of going through something horrible like that, you
Mm-hmm.
I keep questioning like why did it happen to me and what is what's the point of this? So um, I did what I could do, shared my story to inspire others, and yeah.
Um, how has the Lupus Society of Illinois helped you cope with lupus?
Um, LSI empowered me and gave me more voice. Having a community and a support system like LSI, aside from my loved ones, inspires me to keep going. It's really nice to know that I have a community here because before didn't know how to I didn't know that the LSI existed, and I didn't know how to give back to my lupus community. But knowing that LSI is there, um, I can I can give back to the lupus community, especially here in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
or Illinois area.
What would you want the world to know about lupus and why?
Um, I think the top two things that I want people to know about lupus is its complexity and unpredictability. and complexity in a sense that there are no two patients alike. Um, every lupus patient is different, and so you cannot just cluster us in one category. Some people are affected by it more than others, and unpredictability in the sense that we don't really know what tomorrow brings. So I could be, for example, I could be perfectly okay today. Like the next few hours, I'm like totally not able to walk, or I'd be just bedridden. Like the next day, I'd be like I couldn't get up out of bed. So it's really hard because our bodies are so unpredictable that we don't know. Um, it's hard to plan sometimes, and we might have to cancel on the day off and cancel all our plans, and this affects our work or our school or whatever we have plans for that day. Um, and there's nothing we can do about it because it's just our body, unfortunately. And there's no single test that could predict lupus right now. So this is why raising awareness and sharing our stories is very vital, so that we can understand the general population and also hopefully find a cure someday.
Yes, I recently heard, Madi Gonzalez.
Mhm.
Her daughter recently became a flight attendant, and she told me that in flight attendant in her training, they did have a little bit of a lesson on people that maybe have an illness that you can't see, and the word lupus was brought up.
Yeah.
So I know probably 5 years ago, it probably wasn't brought up. So we know our awareness and, speaking out and voicing is really working because we are seeing more people familiar with it and doctors getting to know more and drug companies, coming up with some new medications that weren't around 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm getting through my questions. So if anyone has any they'd like to ask, please go ahead and put them in the chat. We do have a lot of positive notes here. So I'm going to start sharing some. I think these are all people you know.
Yes, my support system that I was talking about.
Perfect. There's a lot of hearts coming through. There's we're so proud of you. More hearts. A lot of hearts.
I see. There's a question by.
Yes, we're getting there. All right. So there, let's get to the question. Yes, it is. I don't want to. Oh, someone wrote its question. I may have missed, but how were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed actually in Chicago, a hospital in Chicago, because I used to live in the suburbs, and the hospital that my mom used to take me, they failed to do it. So um, when my mom brought me to a Chicago hospital, um, they they tested me for the ANA. Like what I said in my earlier, there's no one test that could detect lupus right now. So it's a bunch of tests. The one that I remember is ANA, and then they also tested my urine, and then they found out that there's protein in it. I believe protein and blood at that time, because my kidneys were affected already. And yeah, that's how I was diagnosed.
So were you diagnosed with lupus nephritis first?
That was after a few days I stayed in the hospital. So when they found out that I had protein leaking in my urine, they actually did a kidney biopsy a few days later. And that's when they confirmed I do have lupus nephritis. And they did they diagnosed me with SLE, so systemic lupus erythematosus first, and with after observing me in the hospital for a couple of days, they confirmed that I indeed have lupus, which was both a relief and obviously sad because I found out, according to Mr. Google, Dr. Google, there's no cure for it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and we do hear that, sometimes people are a little bit relieved to get diagnosed with something just so that you can get on a treatment plan and kind of have and not be so kind of in limbo, but it is a hard diagnosis to get.
Yeah, it is.
Now here's a few more inspiring comments. I know there's some more questions coming up, but I don't want to miss anybody. Well, here's a shout out to your mom. Okay. Here's a question. What are you looking forward to in the near future?
Oh, motherhood is what I'm looking forward to in the future, as it's a new area for me, and I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I'm excited for it, and also it's going to be a challenge because of with lupus and everything, but I'm blessed in a way that I am able to carry a child despite everything that had happened. That's what I'm excited for.
Okay. And then here's another question. What is your treatment plan? And I guess I would ask on top of that, is it different being pregnant?
Mm-hmm. My treatment plan right now, well, it has changed ever since I got diagnosed.
Okay.
So I would backtrack to when I was diagnosed. They gave me prednisone when I was first diagnosed, and also I remember they gave me morphine for the pain, for my joint pains, and then I also took mycophenolate for my kidneys, and then hydroxychloroquine. So the only thing that is constant is the hydroxychloroquine, the Platinum. So I'm still taking that. And with regards to my treatment plan, now that I'm pregnant, I take azathioprine, and I think those are like the main ones, and Orsudoil too. Yeah.
So are you taking anything for your lupus nephritis, or is that pretty much kind of?
Yeah, I'm not taking anything for my lupus nephritis. Surprisingly, back in 2019, the only organ that was healthy during my second flare up was my kidney. So right now it's doing okay.
Oh wow! Look, we have someone watching from Tokyo.
Yes.
Do you know this person?
Yes, that's my aunt.
Oh, hello from Tokyo in Tokyo. Oh, sorry, we already had that question. Okay. Here's your mom. I know it's your mom because where is this boho?
Ooh, that's where I grew up. In the Philippines.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Oh, it's very nice of your mom. Anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up for the evening?
Yeah. Oh, there's one more question.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I had a pop-up come up on my screen. how might a lupus affect your pregnancy?
Um, I do see one more.
Yeah, I just popped it up.
Oh,
Oh, how might lupus affect your pregnancy? And then here one, being pregnant with SLE, what are you worries and how are you coping with it? So there's
yeah,
a couple about pregnancy.
yes. Okay, let's yep. What are my worries? With lupus patients, we are at risk for miscarriages, and that was one of my worries about throughout this whole pregnancy. Um, that's why we, and then coping with it. Like what I said, I have a great support system. So like my mom and my husband, and with everyone else, my extended family, and I'm hoping that when we've been through the worst already, so I'm hoping that when that time comes, um, my community will be there for us still. And, how might lupus affect my pregnancy? Oh, there's a lot of things that I don't know how it might affect my pregnancy. But one thing I can share is that I am considered a high risk pregnancy, and so I'm seeing a maternal fetal medicine for this. And what I can share is that so far I'm doing well. My baby is doing well, and yeah, that's all I could ask for, really.
Are you going to like additional appointments or what does that mean in terms of like going to so are you seeing a regular OBGYN and a high risk or is that just a high risk?
Just the high risk.
Okay.
When it comes, they told me that when 32 weeks hit, I will be seeing them every week. So it's gonna be a little bit hectic,
Yeah,
but
I think
only thing for the baby.
yeah, definitely. And it goes by quick. I just showed Victoria my 1 year old. So I just had, it goes really quick. So um you're going to love it. You're going to be a great mother and your support system you'll need them because you'll want to rest and take care of yourself as well.
Yeah.
All right. And I think that was, is there any more questions that I missed? Oh, someone else is watching from the Philippines. That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Before we log off, I just want to remind everyone that we will be at the Chicago Walk on September 30th in Lincoln Park. So please register if you have not yet. We would love for everyone to come out. Victoria will definitely be there. We'll have her share her story a little bit there. We just don't have the whole time. And so we wanted to have her kind of share her story and her inspiration tonight. So we can't wait. So in a couple weeks, it's hard to believe, but we will be there. So if anyone has any questions or needs help registering, please give me a call. Our number is 312-542-0002, or I can be reached at email at lisa@lupusil.org at any time. If any other questions come up for Victoria, I could definitely pass them on to her as well. So you could email those to me as well. So yes, everyone's so excited to see you in that big bump.
Baby bump. Yeah, and lastly, I would like to say thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, especially my family and friends, who's always very supportive of me. So thank you for being here and for.
Sorry, one more question I didn't see.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
It said, what are you most excited about for the walk this year?
Um, uh, I have friends and family who are coming from different states on that during the walk. So I'm excited for that, and also just seeing the lupus community come together again, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and I appreciate everyone who hopped on tonight. Hope that everyone has a great week and we look forward to seeing you all on September 30th.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
So